You're watching Swipe, coming up on this week's show.
How robot DJs and pedal-powered fridges could be helping create tomorrow's scientists. I have a go at controlling a Scalextric using mind power. And who doesn't love a puzzle? We've got a messy one in this week's Games Review.
Welcome to Swipe. This week we're at the Big Bang Fair in Birmingham, the UK's biggest science, technology, engineering and maths event. There's loads of cool stuff here and there are plenty of budding young scientists and inventors. In fact, we've sent Will to meet a few of them and to find out what innovations we can look for in the future. Go on, get him.
I created a drug to diagnose and treat the early onset of Alzheimer's.
I've invented a cycling jacket with indicators.
So I've invented a new, revolutionary, high-altitude weather balloon shuttle.
I've invented a light that helps dyslexic people to read.
Young people here have a lot of big ideas, and the organisers hope that by making science and technology fun, they can inspire kids to become future programmers and engineers.
When you're looking at a textbook, sometimes it's difficult to see how what you're doing in school relates to what you might do in the future. And this really brings it alive. Whether you might want to go into coding, you might want to be involved in building things, you might want to be involved in the medical world. It's all here, and there are people that have gone through the same sort of decisions in the past that you can talk to.
One of the more unusual things here is this, the DJ robot. Its mechanical arms can play music and even dance to the beat. But its real purpose is to demonstrate how robots are used in food production. Modern factories rely on automation, and these machines do a lot of the work.
This robot could do anything from icing on an Easter egg, so writing your name on an Easter egg. It could deal with the wrapping, a wrapped product, to actually push it onto the next operation. It could actually lift up quite some heavy pallets ready for dispatch.
A prototype from BAE Systems uses sound in a different way. Instead of using headphones, it conducts noise through bone, using this tiny speaker. It's been designed to improve the way soldiers communicate.
Now this is something anyone can have a go at. As I'm cycling, the movements I'm making are powering the fridge behind me. It's been designed to show young people how refrigeration works.
From keeping data centres cool to chilling your food, this technology powers a massive industry.
Engineering as a whole really suffers from a lack of skills, mainly because the STEM subjects aren't deemed as attractive or exciting, but I think this show here is what we're trying to do to turn that around, or at least help to turn that around.
Much of the technology you see here may never get past the prototype stage, but the young people testing it out could be inspired to create their own inventions. Will Sargent, Sky News.
Stay with us because still to come, I'll be finding out how to control one of those using purely the power of my mind. But first, here's a roundup of some of this week's other tech news.
Pigeons have been recruited to tackle air pollution in London. Equipped with sensors on their backs and a Twitter account, they've been sending data back to Pigeon Patrol HQ. The project's creator said he used pigeons because their low, fast flying means they're able to gather accurate readings and beat the traffic. Sony's announced when it will release its virtual reality headset. PlayStation users will be able to get one in October. Meanwhile, Facebook's Oculus Rift will be available in the US later this month, and the HTC Vive is due in April. You might not have heard of the Chinese board game Go, but over in South Korea, it's huge. And in Seoul this week, a computer beat a human at it. Google DeepMind took on Go champion Lee Si-dol and triumphed 4-1. It's the first time a computer program has defeated a top-level player. A 15-year-old from Somerset led a drone racing team to victory, taking first prize at an event in Dubai. Luke Bannister's Tornado X Blades Banner UK won £174,000 after beating Russian and Dutch competition in the final race around a Tron-esque glowing track. And fresh on crowdfunding site Indiegogo this week is what's claiming to be the world's first portable stone bake oven. It's wood or gas fueled, and with temperatures up to 500 degrees C, the makers say it can cook a pizza in under 90 seconds. Stick around for our games review. We'll be down on the farm in Stardew Valley.
There's so much to see and try out here. Too much, in fact, for just this one episode of Swipe. But when I heard about a mind-controlled Scalextric, I wasn't going to leave Birmingham without having a go. Right, Sophie, I've got my headset on. I'm the yellow car.
Yeah, you're the yellow car.
How am I making this move?
Okay, so the headset is connected to the computer, which is connected to the Scalextric, and you are relaxed and you're almost in a sort of a fairly meditative state, which is releasing alpha waves by your neurons in your brain. They release electrical impulses.
The only reason the car is moving
is because you're nice and relaxed. Yeah, whereas I'm not, which is why the blue car is really struggling.
But that's because you're talking to me.
Yeah, it's because I'm talking to you. As soon as you start talking to me, which is why the yellow car stopped as well, you're not relaxed and focused anymore, and so the car's not moving. So we developed the connection between the headset and the Scalextric.
You at Warwick University.
Yeah, our fourth year group. Over the last 2 years, it's been a project. We're encouraging kids to get into STEM by showing them cool biomedical engineering applications. So we've connected the mind control headset with a retro toy to make it cool.
And what was the point in developing it? Was it just a bit of fun, or are there other uses for this technology?
Okay, so the Scalextric is a bit of fun, but the wider applications is that you can, if you have more electrodes, you can connect it to a wheelchair and get a better map of the brain, so you can control direction as well as just speed.
So it has potential uses for people with disabilities?
Yeah, anyone with a muscle wasting disease or anyone with severe paralysis. You can also connect headsets to diagnose things like epilepsy. If you have a better map of the brain, you can see any sort of unusual brain function or brain activity. So there's lots of applications. It's a really up-and-coming area of science.
There are plenty of games here for kids to get stuck into, and now it's time for our game slot. This week's review will make you think. We've got puzzles and we've got racing. What better combination? Here's Martin.
Telepaint is a new iOS game from Acid Nerve, a two-man studio who did Titan Souls, which came out last year on PS4 to much critical acclaim. It's a kind of retro-styled game. This one is a puzzler. It's got this kind of 80s children's TV vibe to it, through a pixel art filter. But that really cute aesthetic hides this really, really mean, devious puzzle game where basically you're teleporting around, and it's one of those amazing puzzle games that starts off really, really simple and then gradually layers in mechanics until by the end of it you're doing things which are actually crazy and kind of mind-melting. It's a really, really good iOS game. It's a really nice fit for that studio style, and it's one of the best games I've played in iOS this year, so it comes strongly recommended. Stardew Valley has been an absolutely huge success on Steam. It's kind of taken everyone by storm. It's one of these games that's come from nowhere. Basically, it is a meld of old games like Harvest Moon and a little bit of Animal Crossing, and with a slightly modern edge and a bit of a Minecrafty edge to it as well. You basically are in charge of a farm, and you go around and you plant stuff and you tend to your crops, and you have a little village to look around. Basically, it sounds very, very simple. There's an awful lot to it. It's a really refreshing change from kind of more aggressive video games. It's super relaxing, but it's also one of those games that can kind of consume your whole life before you know it, and you end up waking up at 4 in the morning just panicking, wondering if your parsnips have grown. Trackmania Turbo. Trackmania is a long-running series on PC by a French studio called Nadio. They have been hugely successful on PC, massive fan base, brilliant driving games, kind of really short, sharp arcade racing games. They've never really had much success on console. They've never really made a concerted effort to go on console. They have now with Trackmania Turbo, and it's brilliant. It's kind of opening up the thrills of Trackmania games to a wider audience. It's a more accessible Trackmania, and it's just a really beautiful game. It's kind of takes Trackmania and gives it the veneer of a 90s arcade racing game, basically. And so it's super approachable, really, really, really fiendishly difficult, and loads of fun.
Well, that's it from here in Birmingham. Take a look at Sky News on mobile, iPad, and catch up for all the latest tech stories throughout the week. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.